Alright, so in this video you're going to see me working on this RAB LED flat panel. It's kind of a newer flat panel that we've been working on. This one, for instance, has Bluetooth built into it, and you're going to see that later on in this video. So right now we're working in this dental office, and I've posted a couple, I think maybe one or two videos on shorts, kind of going over like the whole underground of this. But I can go into more depth probably if you want to see more of that underground. I can take a little tour. I'll probably end up doing that just to show you how that whole thing turned out. But yeah, so I'm in this drop ceiling, and the problem is with this drop ceiling is if you can tell, the head clearance is horrible. There's really not that much clearance. I mean, you might have maybe like just enough headroom, really. I mean, before you hit your head on the ferrin. So I'm trying to deal with this tile here, and I'm thinking about, maybe should I just work with the tile in or work with the tile out? And it's just an absolute pain. I can't get my arms around it because that sprinkler pipe's there. That's that black pipe that you see there. And I end up deciding, hey, enough is enough. We got to get this thing out of here. So every time, the problem why I don't like doing this is for some reason, everybody knows how it is. You go to take you know, a drop ceiling out, a tile out of the drop ceiling, and all of a sudden now the tile doesn't go back in, it doesn't fit right, and now the whole ceiling's messed up. You damage the tile, you got fingerprints on the tile, and now it's just a big mess. So, anyways, I'm putting the tile over there for now, and we'll deal with that later. So, yeah, so here's this, here's the wiring compartment for this thing, and you're going to see why we do this this way. So basically, you see that 14.2 MC, and now this is a commercial building. This is a dental office, so no Romex allowed to whip off into these lights. You got to use MC. You got to have that physical protection for that MC in case God forbid the ceiling comes down and someone gets hurt. You got to have that MC cable there for that physical protection. But yeah, so the problem with this wiring compartment is, can you see it? It's just like there's no room. And already, those wires, those little low voltage wires, so you see those pink and purple wires, those wires are already coming out of the wiring compartment. It's such a pain. You got to try to squeeze those in. And there's a little metal piece in there that's kind of like a divider that holds them in. And I'm probably kind of trying to show you, that wiring compartment, but I just didn't get a really good view on that. And yeah, in this video also, you see these stupid MC connectors, and I don't know which, where these MC connectors came from, but at least 10 of them that I grabbed straight out of the box. I had to throw them away because they were all cross-threaded. All the aluminum and everything was complete garbage. I couldn't even do anything with it, and it was just a waste of time. I was trying to take two pliers and try to take the lock nut off, and just had no luck. I don't know if anyone else has been having problems with these things, but complete garbage. Stay away from this brand. I'll have to figure out, what brand this is, and I'm never buying that again. Pretty sad. But yeah, trying to get the wires in these compartments now, and you got to bend them a certain way in order to fit it in. So yeah, there you go. You can see that little dividing piece in there. And yeah, that's how much wire you're leaving in there. And if anyone's gonna say anything about me, you don't have enough wire in that wiring compartment, yeah, guys, you're not fitting that in there. I'm sorry, but you're just not, and you're not fitting two wires in there either. And it's just too tight. The wiring compartments suck on these things. So make the wiring compartments bigger, or figure something else out, because it's just terrible. I'm not a fan of that. But the light itself, really high quality, really really good stuff. So yeah, there's that white, cylinder looking thing, and that is obviously, kind of looks like a capacitor, right? But it's not a capacitor. It's this is a Bluetooth device. So I guess all these lights in the building, if you push this button, there's a button on the left side of that, obviously that circle, and it's like the sync button, and it turns it on. And I guess you can turn the lights on and off through your phone. Maybe you can connect all of them to your phone. I have no idea how it works. I don't get involved with that part. I'm just more focused on, does the light, when you turn on the switch, does the light work pretty much? And does it work properly? And so you see how hard I'm tightening down on these wire nuts. And let me tell you, these ideal orange and blue wire nuts are the best wire nuts I've ever used. Besides the 3M stuff, I will say the 3M stuff is really, really good too. But these are my favorite. Only because they have that, they got that little rubber, kind of sleeve on it. And if you have, you can get more conductor. You can strip more conductor, which allows you to, make a better solid connection, and then you can really crank down on these things. But as you can see, you see how I'm pulling on those wires. Always, always, always pull on your wires. Just because you spin that wire nut does not mean that connection is going to be a good connection. You have to pull the wire nut, and you have to pull the wires to make sure that they're tight. And if you're not doing that, then you're going to have a problem. I guarantee you will one of these days have a problem if you don't do that. Yeah, so due to the limited, space, I can't carry, like a tool pouch or anything up there. I'm going to hit the side of the wall, and I'm going to keep getting stuck on that ceiling. So I'm gonna come up and down the ladder, just to go, get more wire nuts or whatnot. And yeah, not really that efficient, but you got to do what you got to do. You can't fit that much room. It's horrible. But yeah, look at on these lights too. You're only seeing, maybe 16s or 18s even just on the junction box compartment. You're not really seeing any bigger size wires, which was kind of, was kind of cool to me. I really find it interesting how, obviously you're feeding it with a 20 amp circuit, and how these, they got, from the manufacturer it's listed to have that size wire in it, obviously. But I always find that pretty cool. You also saw those pink and purple wires, and those were also having, it's got a dimming feature on it. I don't know if you can bypass that, with the Bluetooth device and see if you can dim it that way. I have no idea. Again, I'm not really responsible for that, but we set it up to not be dimmed. So that's just gonna those wires are gonna tuck away in there, and they're just gonna, pretty much live in there. So yeah, now you're seeing me staple this MC, and yes, I'm using a regular blue staple on it. I'm not gonna go and get a MC clip for this. The staple is gonna be fine, so don't get all upset with using a staple on it. It's going to be perfectly fine. I left the, obviously the blue insulator on there. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to hold it a little better, obviously. There's no reason to insulate the staple from anything. It's not going to penetrate through the MC armored cable. It's just to support it. That's all it's going to do. And, our local inspector, he wants to see everything basically supported. In Massachusetts, we are allowed to run our wires on top of the ferrin, but in this case, our inspector wants it to be stapled, and obviously that makes sense to me. He wants extra support on those cables, and that's what we're gonna do. It's really not that big of a deal. It doesn't take that long, and it does make the wires look a lot cleaner. So I'm okay with doing it, and I can understand why he wants to see that. So yeah, you're gonna see that other junction box with this green hospital grade MC. That has nothing to do with our part of the scope on this project. That's for someone else. They're wiring some equipment, doing some other things. That's got nothing to do with us. Yeah, so now you're seeing this 12-2 Romex, right, going into this junction box. And yes, we do not run our switch legs directly into the lights. Obviously we transitioned from Romex into MC, and in a commercial instance, you're not gonna run Romex into the light. It's not allowed. So yeah, that's why you're seeing the, we junction boxed our switch leg with a nice 4 square deep box which got plenty of room in it. That's what you want. You want a box that has plenty of room. You can go in there and you don't have to slam the cover on. You don't have to fight it. You just get the bigger box. Stop trying to pinch dollars. Stop trying to make it, to try to cut the costs on a junction box. You're going to be, killing yourself in the long run. You're going to spend more time on labor and more money on labor. Really just a huge waste of time. But also notice how the inside of the junction boxes also mark sterilization room or sterilization lights. We make sure to mark these junction boxes. Don't just put junction boxes into a ceiling and not mark them. That is one of the biggest pet peeves that I have. I go into ceilings all the time, and they have maybe 100 junction boxes in them for whatever reason. Something happened along the lines. Maybe the wire got too short, wire got damaged. You have no idea what the hell these things are doing. So just take the extra 3 seconds, put a little mark on them, and that's it. That's all you got to do. So we're making up the splice right here, and obviously I can't really get a really good POV on that because of the ceiling. Right there, you got the strapping hitting my head pretty much. I'm surprised I didn't hit the camera with that. But you might see it. But these Knipex pliers are the best pliers you can buy. I've used everything. I've used Milwaukee. I've used Klein's. What else have I used? I've used Weha. The Knipex are absolutely the best. They are the best hands-on pliers that I've ever used, and I'll never buy anything else besides them. Also, that little icon light that you see there, yeah, that's from Harbor Freight, and phenomenal light, absolutely phenomenal. Sticks to the magnet's super strong. It sticks to everything. Comes in handy during panel changeouts and whatnot. It's just a phenomenal light. So right now you see that splice turned out like complete crap, right? So I noticed that. Don't just leave it. It's of course that that might happen to you sometimes. I'm limited to confinement and space here. I got that piece of tie wire next to me. My arm is actually my elbow. You can't see it, but my elbow's hitting the ceiling grid. So it's kind of hard to make kind of good splices in that instance. Those other two were absolutely rock solid. But guess what? I'm undoing it. I'm not gonna leave that splice like that, and don't leave splices like that in this circumstance or in any circumstance really, because that's gonna cause problems further down the line. That from heating and expansion and contraction, and that those wires vibrating and heating up, that splice is gonna come undone. It's gonna cause problem, and it's gonna be garbage. So take the time, take it apart, redo it, and make sure that splice is, rock solid. That's what you want, and you can see how much room I have. I'm really struggling to try to get these things in, but yeah, look how tight that splice is now. I mean, that's phenomenal. Never gonna come apart, never. So yeah, using the ladder as a workbench, obviously not the greatest idea, and of course, gotta go get more wire nuts, because can't take enough with me. Yeah, that's kind of, you can see those pipes, the underground conduit pipes there. But now, the best part about these wire nuts, and I'm gonna show you why, is you see those little wings on there. I can crank the living hell out of these wire nuts, crank them down so tight, and never coming apart, absolutely never. And when you're laying these wires inside the junction box, don't make them into a rat's nest. Cut what you need. Obviously cut a little extra. I like having a little extra just, so you can work with it. You can pull the wires out in the future and to work with them, obviously. But, don't leave a rat's nest in there. Don't be that guy that leaves 10 pounds of slack. Don't do that. And now I'm getting that neutral ready to land right into that box. Tighten it down really well. And then you can see the light's already been jack chained. I like to, so, our process is throw the light into the ceiling grid, figure out what the lighting plan says, and then, jack chain it, and then another guy comes around and he's going to basically, wire it and finish the process. But I also don't just like to wire it. I also like to, double check, make sure everything's, nice and solid and nice and tight. And you're going to see that very shortly. And that is also a Harbor Freight Hercules impact. Absolute phenomenal impact. If you're using an 18-volt drill or an 18-volt impact on any of your work, doing these little connections or delicate work, you're a clown. Don't be doing that. 12-volt, is perfectly, strong enough. So yeah, here I am. I'm checking the jack chain. Jack chain looks phenomenal. So our coworker who tied it in did a phenomenal job. Little to barely any slack on that light. So if that sealant ever comes down, that light's going to be perfect. Clean your fixture up. Don't leave wire strips in there. Horrible idea. So I'm cleaning that up, and that's it. That's a wrap of the light. I mean, it's a phenomenal installation, professional installation. That's how you do it. Clean up your stuff. Don't leave any crap up there, and then that's it. So thanks for watching.